All right, we are live. We are live. Sorry, people. Sorry. I hope you guys can hear us. This is the mic right here.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing? We got James with coffee. Of course, you guys know. Well, no, you don't. This could be like year 3000. And you're like, who the fuck is this primitive creature?
I know.
Well, this is whiskey, and it's Canadian blend. And anyways, fuck you guys.
I'm having coffee. That's my whiskey. I'm already feeling good with the coffee. So I had lunch.
Hell yeah. So basically what happened is you came over, we're going to play some guitar, and I kind of ruined it because I'm at this novice level.
Because you didn't really know how to play guitar.
Exactly, dude. But I'm glad you came over still. I'm glad you came over. It's good shit, dude. Thanks for coming by, though, because it's always nice to hang out with friends. You know what I mean? Growing, like, I'm 30 years old. How old are you?
I'll be 50.
So you're 50 years old, and it's like, when you're 16, 17, it seems like you got all these people you can hang out with on a whim. And as you become,
and you do.
Yeah.
And you do. Yeah. I notice it with my kids. They'll be super good friends with somebody this week. And then after a while, I'm like, hey, whatever happened to so-and-so? Oh, we're still cool. I'm like, what do you mean? You never even talked to them. They just go through like their little phases where they're friends with somebody. And then the next thing you know, like they don't even talk to us. They got a new somebody.
Yeah.
So
I remember that because I was the same fucking way.
Right.
Hell yeah. But then, is it weird? Like, so, yeah, how old are your kids?
15 and 14. So
at 15 and 14, are you just kind of looking at them going, I remember that?
I try to. It is sort of like time travel. Like, we were kind of talking about that earlier, how certain things like looking at home videos is like time travel, but just looking at your kids and then thinking, yeah, I remember being that age and trying to put your mind into where your mind was at that age. It's really hard because it's like, it's almost like, it's got to be like a thought experiment or something, or imagination experiment, because it's so foreign. We've been through so much that it's hard to go back to that state. So yeah, for real.
It's almost like, so my daughter's 1, and I'm trying to. At what stage is the question? What stage do you start teaching them, right? And I'm trying to think, like, her level of understanding of the world is so small, and I can't get back there. Like when I try to teach anybody anything I know, I always try to make analogies to what they're into. How do you do that to a 1-year-old?
You're probably better off learning from her, honestly, like, because her viewpoint is much more needed than our viewpoint is. Our viewpoint is a dime a dozen right now.
Wow, jaded dad.
Her viewpoint is straight out of the universe, like brand new, like, so.
Yeah, we're taking a shower earlier, and she's lifting up the drain, and my natural reaction, I was conscious of it, was to go, no, put it back. But I'm like, no, baby, look, see, there's nothing in there, but she's still looking with wonder down the drain.
Right. The curiosity.
Oh, wow.
Right, and that's how she's learning everything, is that curiosity. So just kind of like watching her.
Yeah.
But you are teaching her. I mean, but you're even when you're not trying to teach her, you're teaching her, like, because you're already giving her that feeling of total acceptance. Like anything she does, you and Shannon accept her, love her, help her.
Yeah.
So she sees the world as a place of acceptance, a place of love, a place of that is going to help her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so sometimes, like, especially with babies, we do not need to make it complicated. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah, like reading blogs and stuff. I think a lot of people read into being how to be a parent.
Right.
I don't think there's any parent out there that doesn't have regret. Like,
oh yeah.
There's no teacher like experience, right? And the thing is, how you're saying she teaches us. I started doing this thing because I'd always yell at her on something important, like no.
Right.
So what I'll do is I'll go, no, you can't do that. So I'll make it, because I don't want to make her fucking fear. So I'm trying to I'm like, why am I yelling at a kid?
Right.
Why am I yelling? And I'm not really yelling at him. But I'm like,
But if she's about to reach for the oven, what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
You're not gonna like pull out the diagram of the oven and be super, yeah. So yeah.
And the thing is, like, that's where I want to save those moments.
Right.
But I noticed it started carrying into other aspects where I go, I told myself I'm not gonna do that when she's not in danger.
Yeah.
So when I catch myself doing it, I'll keep the voice going. So it's not like, no.
Right.
It's like, no, you can't do that, babe.
Right.
So she'll still look at me and go, oh. Okay.
Right.
So she is teaching me.
Right.
And she's teaching me patience. And I think when you learn how to interact with a small child, you interact with people in the world better.
Yes. No, it's funny you bring this up because, like, so this week, okay, hey Daniel, I'm putting all your dirty laundry out there. Just put that out there. But anyway, so I got an email from my son's high school teacher and it just said, if you're receiving this email, it means that your child was caught cheating on a Japanese quiz, on a Japanese language quiz. So, so he's a sophomore, at a high school in the Valley area, in the greater Phoenix metropolitan area. So, and of course, my reaction is, you're angry and you're also sort of like ashamed and you're like, damn, and disappointed. But at the same time, he's been through, I just try to remember, like high school was stressful, man.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was in high school, it was super stressful. And I didn't even have me for a dad, and so I try to look at it that way, like, God, if I had me for a dad.
Go ahead.
So, and he's had some stress, he's so much a better student than I ever was, and we laugh about it at times, and, even he saw my report cards, like both my kids have seen my report cards and they're nothing like, it's almost like, oh my God.
So you're breaking out of the Asian mold, straight A's. That's what you're saying.
I definitely did. And then that's where, like, I was adopted, like, cause look at my report cards. You can tell what I'm saying. So he's a much better student. But his mom is, she's from Korea. And so that's how she was raised. She was raised with good grades and you do this and you do that. And so I try to, I do want them to get good grades, but because it's tied to not just the end in themselves, but it's tied to the opportunities and learning how to work hard.
Right.
This world is, you work hard, good things happen for you when you work hard. I mean, the best things that happened in my life is when I was just grinding, and working. So, but at the same time, it's like, I have to realize that these kids are under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And so, and so for the last couple of days, me and his, he even said he was really stressed out. And this is before I got the email from his, and so his mom and I are kind of worried, cause he's had little patches of being stressed and feeling really overwhelmed and anxious. And I'm just very open about when I feel anxiety, and they know my history. Like I've had history of depression and history, and I just try to be upfront with them, and so anyway, I get this email and it hits me. That's why he's been so stressed out, because he knew this was coming, basically.
Gotcha.
I think so. Anyway, we talked to, I talked to his mom, and we're basically like, hey, we got to handle this still, but at the same time, there's a sense that he's already been punishing himself way harder. Like he knows that his mom is going to be pissed. He knows. So we talked to him about it and this and that. But we also agree that, hey, it's not the end of the world. Like we've made tons of mistakes. I've made a ton of mistakes. And like you said, it teaches you patience, I think a lot of parents, they demand so much of their kids, and it's like, why are we demanding that our kids be perfect? Because my life, like when I demand perfection of myself, I get really stressed out. Absolutely. And things don't do good for me. Yeah. So I don't want my kids to demand perfection of themselves, and I teach it to them by not demanding perfection of them. And also they see that I don't demand perfection of myself. I accept myself. I'm trying to improve, but not in a way perfection is, dude, that's a recipe for disaster, demanding perfection of ourselves and each other. So,
you know, and speaking on that, like, no one ever taught me how to be a student.
right.
No one ever taught me how to be a student. But once I learned it in my late 20s,
yes,
so I'm 30.
Right.
Just fucking put perspective on that. Is when I learned that, it blew my mind. It blew my mind because when we try something new, we beat ourselves up over it. Where now, every time I approach something, I do beat myself up, but I'm learning that patience where I'm like, okay, you made a mistake. And instead of saying why or I suck at this or stop, which I would do in the past, I would do.
Just get frustrated
and
with the lack of results or the I'm here and the yardstick is up here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing that helped me be a student is what do I need to work on? So I'm kind of getting off topic. I guess I didn't really organize my thought, but my thing is, so before I went on the fight team at the lab, they were talking, this college wrestler was talking about this thing called helplessness. This is what helped me be a student, I guess. And since I was an amateur and they're professional athletes, he was likening it to this. He said, look, you take a high school wrestler. He dominates practice all the time. He becomes state champion 4 years in a row. Then he goes to the next level, college wrestling. Now he's in a room full of everyone just like him.
Right.
And he may or may not get paired up with a guy who's kicking his ass now. So instead of dominating, that's what gave him his edge. He's used to dominating. He learns to lose because he's never winning in practice. And that's called helplessness. You learn to lose. And they never figure it out. They never figure out how to bust out of it. So they either quit or they never win. And he said, you got to figure out how to avoid that. And what I learned personally is one technique. So I had a guy kick the shit out of me every day. Every single day, this guy would beat the shit out of me. But since I was prepared for the helplessness, I learned, like, all right, what can I focus on? He always has me in this position where I'm losing. What can I do? So I work specifically. I work on specific stuff. After 2 weeks, I'm getting better at it. So I focus on self. So overall, if you look in there, I'm losing.
Right.
But in my mind, I just got better at that.
Right.
And that's what helped me build. Like, okay, it takes a lot of work.
Right.
It takes a lot of repetition, patience, and stubbornness, right? And there's a lot of stuff in there, but that's how I understand being a student. So, but I still have that part of me like this. So I get impatient when you go into anything, you don't have enough tools to be good at it. And I need at least one or two. So I'm going, and patience is my biggest thing right now.
Me too. Patience is, so going back to this story with Daniel. So we talk, and then another email comes from his teacher, and it says, no, but it's good. It's good.
Okay.
Listen, hear me out. So it says, I had a chance to talk to all the kids involved, and I talked to them one by one, one-on-one. So Daniel was the only one that admitted that what he did and took responsibility and said, I knew what I was doing.
Oh shit.
And I chose to do it, and I'm sorry. And she said he was the only one who A, admitted what they did, or B, didn't make an excuse for it. And she said, I've always respected Daniel. And this is her second year with Daniel because she had him in freshman Japanese class. So he's in the second year of Japanese class. So they know each other pretty well, and he liked it. So she said, and this, I'm reading this at work, and I have the email pulled up, and and I've always respected Daniel, but now I have huge respect for him.
That right there would make me fucking proud.
Dude, I got all weepy, just reading that. And she said she cried. She said that she basically she cried when she was talking to him, and just
you just gave me goosebumps.
Yeah. And so
that's awesome.
And I think it's, who knows how the universe works. If I would have gone home and I would have, all right, I'm gonna start cracking skulls, and and who knows if that email would have ever come. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, so it's like patience is its own reward. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it is its own award. I've been reading this book. It's called In Praise of Slowness.
Okay.
You were telling me about that book about the 4 agreements, and so
right. So let me hear about that one. What's that?
The In Praise of Slowness. I've just started it, but I bought it at Bookman's. So I love Bookman's because
That's
it's
like
books
used
and it's cheap.
games
So
too,
it's
right?
like 2 things that I love, like not spending a lot of money, and then and books. So anyway, we went down to Bookman's and bought it, and it's called In Praise of Slowness. I think the author's name is like Carl Honore, or it's like a French sounding name. So anyway, really interesting. But basically talking about how our society is, the velocity at which we operate in our society is so fast. And I just look at it like I'm old enough to remember we didn't have internet when I was a kid. We didn't have cell phones when I was a kid.
Right.
We didn't have like 700 channels to watch on TV, you know, and just how, so I've been able to watch how society, like there was a time we didn't have these things. We didn't need these things, you know?
Now I get anxiety if I don't got it on me, right?
Yeah, and it's like basically, you know, we didn't even have email. Like,
you know, I remember going to my friend's house in high school and knocking on doors. Hey, is Joey here?
Right.
No, he went over to Steve's. So I'd be over at Steve's. I'd boo-boo. Hey, is Steve here? No, him and Joey went over. So you were on this mission to find your friends.
And it was okay. It wasn't like, God, I'm wasting so much time here to go to Steve's. You know, I got shit.
Yeah.
You know, I got stuff to do, you know.
God damn it.
So, but now that's how we are. You know where I see it is when I'm driving. And you know, because we've been both people. We've been like, I've been the one like, God, you're driving me nuts. Hurry up. The light just turned green. Hurry up.
Yeah.
You know, and dude, it is so stressful. Like even being, and just what we do to ourselves. Like, God, you know, like, and so now when I'm driving, I just try to get into this super slow. I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah.
And if somebody does something crazy in front of me, and let's face it, it's not if someone does something crazy. It's when.
Yeah.
And how often, like someone is going to do something crazy. They're going to cut you off. They're going to do something that you deem as dangerous.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you notice when you slow down like that and you have that mentality, you can see it coming from a mile away now and you're like, let me just.
Right. Sometimes. Yeah. And even there's times. So, okay, this actually happened to me. All right. So I was actually on the off, I was heading on the off ramp, and it's one of those 2-lane off ramps where you're like, I'm coming this way, but the other traffic is coming this way, but we're both have room.
Yeah.
Well, the lady in front of me, the person in front of me, they got freaked out by this other car coming, and they just stopped on the off ramp, just absolutely stopped. And I just like slam on my brakes. I'm able to stop in time, but the car behind me, boom, it hits me. And so I'm just like, oh man. And you know, this is the pre-patient me. So I'm just like, God, you know, and so I pull off to the little gravel, you know, which is, you know, just there. The cars just take off. Wow. The car that hit me took off. So here I am, and you know how we are, right? Yeah. We're like, so I literally put it in gear and I start following him. And I call and I start following him, and I find who he is, and I pull up next to him, and he's doing this where he's like he's like trying not to make eye contact with me, and I'm like I see you, I see you, and I'm gonna follow you, and I'm gonna get your license plate number because now I have to make a claim.
Yeah.
Anyway, I followed this guy all over, and dude, this dude was trying to take me, and this is so crazy. like, okay, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but he was doing crazy stuff, but I was right behind him.
You're the guy on the other line of the phone where we're 911, where you go, oh, he's doing 80.
Exactly, and I was doing he was cutting off traffic, dude. He like oncoming cars, he was making, and I was right behind him. I was so caught up in my anger and rage that I didn't care. I became dangerous. So I was just like, so anyway, we did end it. Finally, I got up next to him, and I was and he's like, I don't have insurance. And of course that made me even madder. And he's like, a kid, I don't know. And I was just like, what kind of, and I'm just yelling at him. And so I pull over. So I pull over. He just kept going. And so that was at the end of that. And he was gone. But I just realized, okay. And then afterwards, I was just like, man, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
I was just like, that was like so dangerous. And I'm filled with adrenaline. I'm filled with all this, rage and poison, and I was just like, okay, that's it. I need to, like, it's beyond. I was like, you can just recognize when you're drowning in poison, basically.
Boom! I like that, drowning in poison.
Yeah, you're just drowning in your own anger. And
hold on, let me take a moment to reflect that drowning. That is, I don't want the world to know about that. I'm gonna steal that.
I think we all feel that.
I know, but the way you put it, you're drowning in your own poison, because there's this moment when you're in that anger and you're like this. You can't resist it.
You can't.
But once you're in there,
quickly, man.
But once you're in there, you're like this fucking sucks. I don't want to be here. And then afterwards, you're like, I never want to be there again. But once it's there, like, that's the ultimate.
It's so quick.
So I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
but
you're 100% right.
Such a good.
So like
that's poetry right there. When you're drowning in your poison.
Right.
And keep going.
So
I'm sorry.
So anyway, and you know what's funny is, like, you can read a book about it, you can do whatever, but when you it's like in your face like that, it's like, dude, you can't, like, that sucked. That feeling of toxic, that feeling of anger, and how many of us? Yeah, it's like, God, I totally lost it. Like, I totally, and here I am. I go home and I tell the kids to be nice to your brothers and sisters, and here I am. I'm totally like a madman, And so slowing down has helped me in so many ways. I mean, I'm a better driver, so there's one less bad Asian driver out there now. so I'm a better driver. I'm more patient, now, and I try to do things like.
So I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'm just trying to bring it back to make sure I didn't miss a point. Mm-hmm. So praising, what's the book called?
In Praise of Slowness.
In Praise of Slowness. So I feel like.
So the book.
I'm just trying to bring it back to it.
Yeah. So it just basically.
That story was related to it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, just basically, like, it's kind of nice sometimes when you see yourself, like you're talking about how you may view yourself as, oh, I'm here, but this is where I need to be.
Gotcha.
And you make it, and it seems to be like a personal problem. Yeah. Like, this is you're not up here. But we have to also admit that, it's a personal problem and I need to work on it. But we also have to realize that we're individuals in a society of individuals, and we all affect each other. And so I'm not the only one struggling with patience.
Yeah.
Everyone in our society is struggling with patience. It's because, and here's the reason why, everyone in our society, we've been sped up. We've been sped up to the point where if we're not doing like 3 things at once, we feel like we're sort of wasting time or something like that.
I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
I struggle with that a lot.
So you want to be doing a bunch of things at one time.
Well, here's what I realized about it with me. And the answer is yes. The short answer is yes. And I'm drifting back to that.
Right.
When I was, and I'm going to times, but this was a big spiritual journey for me, going on the fight team at the lab. The thing with that was I learned that I was really happy because I felt like this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm devoting a lot of it, and also physical exertion. So I got that primitive side out of me. At the end of the day, I was satisfied. I was like, that's what I want to do. And that slowed me down.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm kind of drifting back into I got to do something because nothing is satisfying unless I am fucking maxing myself out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I've been practicing meditation for the last month. And that takes time. Like, you're not going to do it once and go, okay. It takes time, and then I get back to that feeling like I'm kind of growing, but I'm kind of getting back in. I'm trying to take myself out. For the last 2 years, I haven't I haven't been doing anything disciplined. So as I discipline myself in meditation, it's bringing me back.
Yeah.
So I think if we find our passion, it'll help us. Now, I'm passionate about jiu-jitsu, but I can't do it for another 3 years consistently because I'm in this program.
Right.
You can't be halfway in anything.
Right.
I don't believe in half-assing. So I'm doing this, but I'm going to implement meditation to mitigate that. And that's what's helping me slow down because we're in the mirage of you have to be doing something. Don't waste time.
Right.
So instead of keep talking about digressing, I hope I touched on it. But yeah, I mean, you feel like our society is there. And I want you to continue on.
So, I mean, what the book basically says is that, I mean, even it kind of progresses from, I mean, there was a time in society when nobody had watches. Nobody had phones. And it was like, think primitive sense of time.
Yeah.
When the sun went up, when the sun goes down, like they were connected to nature. And not to say that, we all need to throw our phones away and go back to, and put bones on our noses and let's go. It's like, we can't just go back to that. That's not the point. So sort of, the book is more of like a journalistic, kind of saying this happened and this happened.
An interpretation of it.
It's just to be aware of, hey, because it's almost just a different voice. Like our voice, our society says the most out of your day, how to maximize, how to, 10 ways to boost your productivity. I mean, all these little things.
Can I touch on that real quick?
Yeah.
Can I touch on that? So I'm in a trade now, I'm pipe fitter, right? And the thing is, that's how all work is. I'm pausing so I can stay on point. But there's stuff you do that makes you faster.
Right.
But in that moment feels like forever. So, for example, and this is one of the things I realized with. I love layout. They call it laying it out. So, smaller scale, you're going to run pipe from here to here. Okay, let's throw in the pipe. This is how everyone does it across the board. Us as a union, we figured out how to measure it out so it's going to be perfect. And this feels like it takes forever.
Okay.
We're going to measure it out, make sure it's perfect. We're going to draw a line going from here to here. Now we look at it. Oh, there's a mistake.
Right.
If we're just going like this, boom, 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 boom. Oh, we ran into a mistake.
You would waste the time,
and the material. Now we need new material.
Right. You just wasted labor, materials. Yeah.
You probably wasted the day.
Right.
And then, okay, 50-50. To be honest, you're gonna the Murphy's Law.
Of course.
If you don't lay it out, you're gonna run into a problem. If you do lay it out, you don't run into a problem.
Exactly. Exactly.
But that's where.
So there's the value right there.
Where you feel like you're slowing down, but by taking your time,
by slowing down,
you go faster.
You're actually more efficient. Slow is fast.
Yes.
Because, there's so many applications of that. I mean, I think probably from the martial arts point of view, when you're teaching someone, they want to be like, it's funny.
This is me. Yeah.
It's funny because we watched that Conan O'Brien.
I'm the impatient guy, just to specify. I'm the impatient guy you were alluding to.
Right.
I just want to go.
Right. I just want to do that, and I can.
So here's a funny story. Yeah. I'm teaching one of those moves to a guy at work. This is maybe 3 weeks ago. I'm teaching him a move. I go, look, when people choke, they go across the throat, and it's like, I'm going to show you how to do it pain-free. So this is a move. It's one arm. That way you feel it come on slowly, and I do the move, and then he kind of slumps in the chair, and I go, all right, you're only making it tighter. I thought he was fucking around. Then he falls on the floor. And I go, oh, shit, I thought I killed him. And then he automatically comes back. He goes, what's up, dude? What happened? I put him to sleep. Because there was no pain. And he goes, dude, it felt like a hug.
I felt like, wow.
And then part of my brain, that means you're getting it right. But unless you repeat it, it's a skill. Any skills that you got to learn for time, you got to do it repeatedly. But that was one of those things. It just reminded me of that story.
Yeah,
had no.
totally. Slow.
And you were talking
slow
about.
is.
I'm trying to get you back to what you're talking about because nothing bothers me more when someone's interrupting me when I'm on a good point.
No, it doesn't.
But
doesn't
you were talking about like when you're trying to teach someone, they just want to go.
They want to go fast, right? And they want to go from zero to expert.
That's me. Yes.
Yeah, and that's all of us. That's everybody.
Yeah.
And you know why? It's because that feeling of not knowing how to do stuff.
Yeah.
We can't accept that. And we think it's a personal problem. Like, oh, that's a character failing in me. Like I can't accept my limitations or this and that. But you also have to realize that it's not just a personal failing on our parts. Society teaches us to not be accepting of that. Society teaches us that unless you're an expert, you have no value. You know what I'm saying? It's like basically says, and so
I'm going to touch on that. Mm-hmm. So this is something that, John Crouch teaches at the MMA lab, and I don't think he gets enough credit. World renowned. I mean, he don't get enough credit. So what he says, and this will translate to everything. So I'm only bringing it back to him because I got a lot of respect for the guy. The guy knows his shit. He says, when you look at someone on an expert level, they're doing the basics, but they've done it that they're doing it at an expert level. So it's all the basics.
Right.
So when you're playing those chords on the guitar, for example, and you're going, wait, I got to learn that. So you're not doing anything. You've just done it longer.
That's it.
And you're doing simple shit. And in your mind, which I just, dude, this is pretty easy. Don't worry about it.
Right, yeah.
We're just having fun while I'm like, I don't want to play anymore because I'm ruining it.
Exactly.
But I know by being on your side in the end in another genre, whatever, is you're good.
The only thing different between you and me is the amount of reps we've done.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And then it's like, you're probably thinking is like, we're just having fun, dude. Stop trying to be perfect.
Right. So true. But I'm the same way. Like with guitar, I mean, I've been playing guitar since I was for like 20 years, something. I've been trying to play the guitar. There's other things where I get really intimidated, like art. I really admire artists that can just, but at the same time, it's always that thing of so uncomfortable with,
and that gives us the fear.
We want to be fast. We want to be fast. We don't appreciate the slowness of
the work,
how the skill was built.
We don't appreciate paying our dues, right?
Right.
And the old school sayings were, there's quotes that I'll come back to. I go, oh, that's what I mean. So my understanding of life, the quotes get deeper to me.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So like she's been awake. I've been listening. I let her wake up, and so that's the thing with the kids. So since she's awake, I'm gonna have to go get her here in a minute. But
I want to see her.
she's crazy. She's her own little human being. Here's what on my mind lately that I want to throw out here is that at what point do you start treating a kid like an adult? Because the thing is, I was going through my whole life going, until I came to this certain point in my 20s. I can't remember exactly when, but I kind of looked around and said, everyone's kind of faking it. And I was used to looking up to people, even in my 20s. And then,
and you got that disillusionment
of,
God, nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And no, I know what you mean. So yeah, keep going.
I mean, I was looking forward to you adding on that.
Well, I've been looking at that too, because I think for all of us, there's security in looking at people and sort of having them as mentors. You can rely on their knowledge because we don't feel so secure in what we know. Hey, I'm not sure about, everything that, especially we look at religion and society and, the meaning of life. We pretty much, our parents or our role models, they sort of impart that to us.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Just like you're talking about the 1-year-old, they don't have a vision of the meaning of life. So that you kind of teach them of that. Well, for her right now, the meaning of life is family. It's mom and dad. It's us, but she's going to expand. So, but what happens when we get to that point where we start questioning everything that's been imparted to us? And it's a logical point. Like, I think that there's a real immaturity when people don't ever question what's been imparted to us. Like, it's kind of like, you've seen Idiocracy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, raising crops on Gatorade, it's not really the best thing, you know, but it's got what plants want, right?
But it's got electrolytes for 2 hours, right?
So, and it's the same thing with life, you know. It's like I think, you know, you see, there's a certain shallowness to some people, and I don't mean this to be a dick, but it's tough to relate. For me, it's tough to relate to people that have never looked beyond.
So here's the thing.
What has been imparted to them.
So,
you know,
here's the thing with that. I was that idiot. Right. And I'm just an evolved person from that idiot. So in 2010 was when my brother died. That was the first real event. I mean,
I remember
that really made me question. But I mean, I'm not trying to talk to it from a sad point.
No.
But it was. So also my ex-wife left me.
That made
2
you
months
question.
later. And that shattered my idea of I'm a good guy. Why is this happening?
Your identity too,
yes.
right? Yes.
So that's what started making me look outside the box. Right. So it's almost like just throwing it out there. If the society's too comfortable, do they ever question?
They don't. And that's why, you know, you look at the Buddha, you know, I mean, he could have said that truth equals, and he could have put anything in there. But what did he say? Truth is suffering. He said suffering. And he didn't say truth is warm fuzzies. And he didn't say truth is you know, beauty and nature. No, he said it's suffering.
So
you know,
through meditating in the last month, like I've been telling you, just to play on what you're saying is, and I got no point to this other than telling you a realization. So I'm sitting there meditating, and I will overcome with sadness. Like you start thinking of global, like Arizona. I'm sorry for bringing it down, but Arizona, we got babies who die in vehicles from the heat.
Right.
And I started imagining,
right,
like, man, that must be horrible. Because I got a 1-year-old. I'm like, man, what kind of pain must they go through? What kind of death
that story of the 3 kids that got locked in the freezer the other day.
Why?
So yeah, and it happens. That's why.
But let me just so I can add a twist on whatever you're gonna say. I don't want to make it too sad because I'm gonna start crying. I really is like, why is there suffering? But that's the wrong question. Is what can I do? And that's the thing where your kid a little tired, you do a little extra, and it makes you better. So suffering makes you a better person. And then society, if you want to make society better, you look at the bad things, and a lot of people are just mad. You're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. Instead of going, but in my head, I'll go, both of them are wrong, but what can I do? So when I go out, what can I do? That person's broken down. I got fucking 25 minutes. Hey, what do you need? And I, you know, the last time I was in that situation, which was probably like 6 months ago, gave a guy a gallon of water. It was summer. It was summer. I go, hey man, I didn't have time. I go, but here's a brand new gallon of water. He goes, no man, you're good. I go, dude, I'm in the car. You're stuck here on the side of the road, broken down car. And he took it right away. He was chugging it. And I was like, have a good one. All right, bro. She's crying. I got We're gonna do this.